Hello there. I wasn't expecting to see you here, of all people in the class. What can I help you with? Yeah, you made it on time to office hours, so I'm obligated to help you. What kind of questions you got? Uh-huh. You know, this is very expected from you, I have to say. So, why don't you take a seat and we can run through some problems together and see if that helps your understanding at all of the material, you know? Okay. So, what is the confusing part? Because that's what we need to kind of root cause and figure out so then we can help you the best, you know? Yeah. So, let's start with the formula, okay? We have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Does that make sense? What do you mean? Did you take like 7th grade math? Okay. Yeah, so letters were introduced into math pretty early on in the curriculum. By now you should understand what they stand for and mean in mathematics. So yeah, we're not singing our ABCs twice or anything because of this formula, you know, we're doing math. This is a very important and structural formula within mathematics. And I guess the questions you need help with have a lot of basis in different structural pieces of math. So if you can't get this under control, then I'm afraid we've got bigger issues. So this formula is about triangles, right triangles specifically. So let me label this for you. So we have side A, side B, and side C. Side C will always be the hypotenuse. It doesn't matter which, you can interchange A and B, right? No. Hypothermia is when you're really cold, not hypotenuse. I see we've got a lot of work to do. So we'll just scratch all this. Where do we start? Do you know how to do something like this? So how do you do this? Okay, so how you do this? So you add up, starting from the right and work left. You add up the numbers in the column. So 3 and 7 is 10. So you write a 0 and then put the 1 for the 10 above the other column to the left of it. So 1, 2, and 1 is 4. So you have 40. How did you make it to a college level course? If you've been doing, I don't know if you're going to get what you need in office hours. The Academic Success Center has tutors. Consider that, perhaps. There's tutors outside of the school, online courses. You're going to need to catch back up a lot with some of these fundamentals. Yeah, sorry, I was checking the time. I'd like to get out of here sooner rather than later, you know? Not trying to be insulting, I'm just being frank. If you can't understand some basic concepts, then you're not going to be able to pass the course, to be honest. And I'd rather, like, if needed, I'd rather you leave now than later, so you're not wasting your own time. I'll be there regardless of if you're there or not. So, let's see. What's something else? Do you know what f of x looks like? Or means, or what it does, or it's a function. So if f of x equals 1, or sorry, f of x is x, I'm getting ahead of myself. Do you know what f with a little apostrophe means? And what that would equal? I'm guessing your knowledge is not there, or maybe it's just scattered around. Maybe you don't know trigonometry and you're more of a calculus person. So f of x is the derivative of f of x, or f prime of x is the derivative of f of x, which is a whole thing. And then if there's two apostrophes, then it's the derivative of the derivative. It's a whole thing. But this is some pretty powerful stuff, and it's kind of cool. You can use it in a lot of different applications. Basically, the function, which is any slope, whatever, on a graph, any line, you can take the derivative to find the slope of the function. And then if you take it at a point, you can find the slope at a given point. This is used a lot for, let's say, let's make something up. Oh, had to sneeze, sorry. So, one application, very common that you learn, is this beginner function. Sorry, my brain's all over the place. This first function, f of x, no derivatives or anything, is the distance formula or function. So x is time, you can also use t, is any given time. So say it's 1, f of 1, you're 1 second in to whatever you're doing. Then you plug in 1 for x everywhere. So plug in 1. At time 1, you have 2 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1 minus 3. So this is distance. So like, say at time 1 you went this many feet, which would be 2 plus 5 minus 3, which is 6. So you were at a distance of 6 feet away of whatever. So f prime of x, which is the derivative, would be your speed, or your velocity. Sorry, velocity, not speed. So you take the derivative of f of x, which is a whole, we can explain later. You might have to watch a whole video on how to take derivatives, but f prime of x is 4x plus 5 because of math and calculus. So this tells you what your velocity is. So we can plug in 1 again for this, and we would get 4 times 1 plus 5. So at time 1, your velocity was 9 distance units per second or minute or whatever your time value is. So you're at location 6 feet, let's say, and your velocity is 9 feet per second. And then your acceleration is the second derivative. So we can find that by taking the derivative of the derivative. And your acceleration is just 4 because there's no x anymore. We've got rid of the x's by doing derivatives. So at any time, but you can plug in 1 for x, but there's no x's, so it'll always be 4. Okay? So your distance, your velocity, or position, velocity, acceleration. Okay? Following? Perfect. Well, that's some basic calculus for you. I'm sure that's what you were expecting to learn today. What else? How about a little investing? You want to know how compounding interest works? Let's say that you have a savings account that pays you 3% interest. Okay? So 3%, let's say you put in $1,000. $1,000 into the saving account that pays you 3% interest. So the formula to find out how much money you would have from this money with your savings or your interest rate, how much you put into your savings account is 1,000. This, you use 1 plus 0.03, or the 0.03 can be whatever your interest rate is. And then n up here is how many years out that you want to look. So if you want to look 10 years out, it would be 1,000 times 1.03 to the 10th power. So I don't know what this is off the top of my head, but 1.03 to the 10th power is something. I don't have a calculator or anything here, but it's something. And then you multiply that by 1,000. Let's say 1.03 to the 10th is like 1.52. Okay? That's probably not what it is. That's just a complete guess. Let's say it's 1.52. So you have 1,000 times 1.52. So then that would be 1,520. 1,520. So in 10 years from now, because of your 3% interest rate, if you just put $1,000 in and let it grow, didn't touch it for 10 years, you would end up with $1,520. That's just how it works. Now, of course, there'll be taxes involved, so you won't exactly get all that money, and that varies by location and where you're at and all that hoopla. But does that kind of make sense? It's kind of straightforward. You need a lot of work, but I hope this can be a good, base work for you to work off of. Good luck. I gotta get going. It's about time to eat. I've been here all day and I'm starving. So I'm gonna go get food and then head home. Thanks for stopping by. If you need to stop by office hours again, feel free. Can always work on something. Otherwise, start watching videos or start looking into tutoring or anything like that along those lines. Supplemental instructions, anything. It's good that you're taking the initiative and coming to office hours, so that's good to see. But yeah, I will. Next office hours is next Tuesday, so if you want to stop by then, feel free. Otherwise, see you in class if you're still around. So we'll catch you later.